Hello students. So the next part we shall consider is the plastids. So plastids, they are the special structures which are found in plants, right? So plastids, they are found only in plants, and these plastids, they are classified into three groups based on the pigments, right? So on the basis of pigments, plastids can be classified into three groups. So these three groups, they are chloroplasts, chromoplasts and leucoplasts. So these are the three categories of plastids. So here these plastids contain pigments, right? So what is this pigment? So pigment, it is a coloring substance. Pigment is a coloring substance, right? So pigments, they are of different colors. So on the basis of pigments, plastids, they are classified into three categories. The first one is chloroplast. So chloroplasts are the plastids which have a green pigment. So the pigment here is green colored, right? So such green colored plastids, they are called chloroplasts. So the pigment here is chlorophyll, right? It has a green pigment called chlorophyll. Now these plastids, that is chloroplasts, they are found mainly in the leaves, right? So here basically leaves in plants, they are green, right? Leaves are green. So in the leaf there is a mesophyll tissue. So while discussing the anatomy of leaf, we have discussed the section of dicot leaf and monocot leaf, right? So there already I told you about the mesophyll. So the tissue of leaf, it is called mesophyll or mesophyll tissue. So between the upper and lower epidermis, the tissue which is present is mesophyll, which is green, right? So the cells present in the mesophyll, they have a plastid called chloroplast. This chloroplast has a pigment which is green, that is chlorophyll, right? And this chlorophyll, it is involved in a process which is called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the main function performed by chlorophyll, right? What is this photosynthesis? Synthesis of food, right? Synthesis of food in the presence of sunlight. So plants prepare food in the sunlight. That process is called photosynthesis. So here photo indicates sunlight. So synthesis of food in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. So the food which is produced, it is mainly starch, a type of carbohydrate. Then the second type of plastid, it is the chromoplast. So chromoplast is a colored plastid. Here chromo, that is chrome. So chrome indicates color, right? So the colored plastids, they are called chromoplasts. So these colored plastids, they may be of different colors, right? So the colors like orange, yellow, red, etc. So all these colors are due to the presence of chromoplast. So chromoplasts are colored plastids which have a pigment that is called carotenoid, right? So chromoplasts have a pigment called carotenoid. So carotenoid pigment, it is of different types, such as carotene is one, another one is xanthophyll. So carotene, xanthophyll, they are all types of carotenoids. They are all types of carotenoids, right? So these pigments like carotene, xanthophyll, they give different bright colors like red, orange, yellow, etc. to flowers and fruits. See here, flowers have varieties of colors, right? So flowers are having different variety of colors. Fruits, even fruits have different colors. So these colors are mainly due to chromoplast, right? And the main chromoplast is carotenoid, right? Which is having different varieties like carotene and xanthophyll. The third type of plastid, it is leucoplast. So leucoplast is classified mainly on the basis of absence of pigment. So leucoplast doesn't contain any pigment. So here pigment is absent. What is pigment? It is a coloring substance. A substance which imparts the color, or a substance which gives color to a tissue. It is called pigment. So in leucoplast, the pigment is absent. So since pigment is absent, leucoplast is always colorless, right? It is not having any color, so it is colorless. So leucoplast is called colorless plastid because of the absence of colors. Colors are absent because there are no pigments. So what is the function performed by leucoplasts? So leucoplasts are involved in storage of nutrients. They store nutrients. Where it is? So leucoplasts, they are involved in storage of nutrients. They store nutrients. Right? What are these nutrients? So nutrients, they may be, we can say carbohydrates, they may be proteins, they may be lipids or fats, right? They may be vitamins, they may be minerals, right? So all these carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, all they are known as nutrients. One nutrient, plural nutrients. So these leucoplasts, they store nutrients, right? Now these leucoplasts, they are further classified into different groups, right? So this is the classification of leucoplasts. So they are classified as amyloplast, then they are classified as Allyoblast, and the third category is Alluroplast. So these are the three categories of leucoplasts, right? So the first one is amyloplast. So amyloplast is a type of leucoplast that stores starch, right? It stores starch. So starch is a type of carbohydrate. Commonly you find starch in the rice. So rice contains starch. Potato, it contains starch, right? Most of the plant products contain starch. So starch is stored by leucoplasts, which are mainly called amyloplast. Then the second group is Allyoblast. So Allyoplasts are the leucoplasts that store oils or fats. So oils or fats, they are stored by Allyoplasts. The third type, they are Alluroplast. So Alluroplast is a type of leucoplast that stores protein, right? So protein is stored by Alluroplasts. Can you tell me the different source of protein? From which food items we get protein? So we get protein from milk, we get protein from dals, that is pulses, we get protein from egg, right? We get protein from fish, etc. So that is the classification of leucoplasts. So here you may expect some questions. What are plastids? Then classify plastids based on the pigments. So based on pigments, plastids are classified into three groups. They are chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Then you may expect a question, what are leucoplasts? Classify different leucoplasts. So you have to write the meaning of leucoplast, then you have to classify different leucoplasts. So leucoplasts, they are classified into three types. They are amyloplasts, then they are Allyoblast and Chloroplast. These are the three categories of leucoplasts, right? So you can expect many 1, 2 and 3 mark questions on plastids. Then next we shall consider the sectional view of chloroplast, right? The sectional view of chloroplast. So when you take a section of chloroplast, right? So when you observe chloroplast under electron microscope, right? When a chloroplast section is observed under electron microscope, it looks like this. So this is the sectional view of a single chloroplast, right? So chloroplast, where is chloroplast present? So chloroplast is present in cells, mesophyll cells of leaf. See, a leaf is green because of chloroplast, right? So in the section, what you can observe? The shape. What is the shape of chloroplast? So chloroplast, it is oval, right? It is oval in shape. So it may be oval or a little bit spherical, but it is actually oval in shape. Egg-shaped, right? So it is oval in shape. It is a double membrane structure. Right? Chloroplast is a double membrane structure. So before that, it is a membrane-bound cell organelle. Right? Chloroplast is a membrane-bound cell organelle because it is bounded by a membrane. Right? What are the examples of non-membrane bound cell organelles? Non-membrane bound cell organelles where membrane is absent. So ribosome is one example. Centriole is another example. Nucleolus is another example. Right? So this is a membrane bound cell organelle. So it is having two membranes. That's why it is called double membrane structure. So which are those two membranes? So one is the outer membrane, second is the inner membrane. So outer and inner membrane, these are the two membranes. Between the two membranes, there is a space. The space between outer and inner membrane is called intermembrane space. Then the space enclosed by the chloroplast, which is also called matrix. So the matrix of chloroplast is called stroma. So the matrix of chloroplast is called stroma. Matrix, or we can say ground substance, right? Ground substance or matrix. So you can expect a 1 mark question. What is stroma? So you have to write it is the matrix of chloroplast, or it is the ground substance of chloroplast, right? So it is called stroma. Now what do you find in this stroma? What do you see in the stroma? So in the stroma, you can observe these structures. So this is one granum, right? This is one granum. Many are called grana. So singular granum, plural granum. Now here a granum is composed of flat sacs. So these flattened sacs, they are called thylakoids. Right? The flattened sacs are called thylakoids. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 flattened sacs which are called thylakoids. One thylakoid, plural thylakoids. So here this is called stack of it is called STACK. So stack of thylakoids, right? So the stack of thylakoids, it is called granum. Just here. 1 thylakoid, 2, 3, 4. So they are placed one above the other. That is called stack. Right? So this is the stack of thylakoids. So this stack of thylakoids, it is called granum. Fine. What is present in the thylakoids? Thylakoids contain pigment, mainly chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is present in thylakoids. Now all these grana, they are linked. You can see one connection or linkage here, right? So this connection or linkage that links the adjacent grana, it is called stroma lamellae, right? So these are all stroma lamellae. Plural lamella. Fine. Then in the stroma, you also come across various enzymes. So enzymes are present in the stroma. These enzymes take part in photosynthesis. Right? In photosynthetic reactions, these enzymes are involved. Enzymes, they are made up of proteins. Details of enzymes we shall consider in the coming topic. Then in the stroma, these structures, they are called ribosomes, right? These structures are called ribosomes. So you also find ribosomes in the stroma. Ribosomes here, they are of what type? Ribosomes are 70S type. So 70S type ribosomes are found in the chloroplast. In the previous videos we have discussed what are 70S type ribosomes, right? Then you also find DNA in the chloroplast. It is called chloroplast DNA, right? So all this you find in the chloroplast. So that is about the sectional view of a chloroplast. So here you may expect a 5-mark question. Explain the structure of chloroplast with the labeled diagram. So you have to draw the diagram and you have to explain the structure of chloroplast. Or only diagram can be expected for 3 or 5 marks. Draw a labeled diagram of chloroplast. So you have to draw this diagram and you have to label these parts. So we shall revise this structure in brief or in short. So chloroplast is a double membrane structure consisting of outer membrane and inner membrane. The space between the two membranes, it is called intermembrane space. Then the matrix, right? The matrix of chloroplast. The matrix of chloroplast is called, it is called stroma. Important 1-mark question. What is stroma? So it is the matrix of chloroplast, or you can say the space enclosed by chloroplast. It is called stroma. In the stroma, you come across various structures. So in the stroma, you can observe these grana, one granum, plural granum. So these are all grana. So in this diagram, I have shown 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 grana. Right? 1-mark question. What is granum or what are grana? You can expect for 1 mark. Each granum is made up of these flattened sac-like structures. They are called thylakoids. Right? So a granum is made up of thylakoids. So a stack of thylakoids is called granum. What is thylakoid? So it is a flattened sac. Right? A flattened sac present in chloroplast is called thylakoid. A stack of thylakoids is called granum. The adjacent grana are linked or connected by these connections which are called stroma lamellae. In the stroma, you can observe the other structures like the ribosomes, which are basically 70S type. You can observe the chloroplast DNA, and even there are enzymes in the stroma. So that is the structure or a sectional view of a chloroplast. A very important 5-mark question, right? So with this, we shall stop here and we shall continue in the next video. Thank you.